So what we're saying is we need to learn to take compliments from our husband, whether it be in a physical gift or he's helping us out around the house. If he cooks a meal, thank him for it. Don't say what you would have done differently. If he cleans or vacuums the carpet, don't say, well, you didn't put the lines like the way that they should have gone. You know, thank him for whatever that he does in the house and whatever he does for you. Be gracious, smile, and say,
Thank you.
Okay. First lesson. Okay, we just gone over that. Now, it's quiz time because some of us think we have it together in our marriages, but, you know, we're going to take a little quiz and just see right quite where you are. And you have a little sheet right there in front of you, and all you have to do with each question is answer rarely, sometimes, or frequently. And we're going to go through a series of questions, and I'm going to try to go, I know what time it is, and I think we have time to get through everything, but if you need some explanation, just raise your hand. Okay. Respond by saying rarely, sometimes, or frequently. How intimate is your marriage? This is a quiz to test your intimacy in your marriage, to see how close you and your husband are. Does everyone have a pencil? Okay, here we go. These are the first 5 questions. They're numbered. Just continue with the numbers. Number 1, do you feel superior to your husband? Rarely, sometimes, or is it frequently? Okay, check one of those. And you can go ahead if you want to. You know, you can multitask while I'm talking. Do you nag your husband? Rarely, sometimes, or frequently. Number 2. Number 2. And number 3. Is there a problem? No, you just put one check in each box. You should only have one check from each number. But you're going to be choosing rarely, sometimes, and frequently. Okay. Number 3, do you commiserate with other wives about your husband? Do you have number 4? Do you hear yourself say to your husband, hear yourself say to anybody, I told my husband? Rarely, sometimes, or frequently. Do you do that? Now, notice there's I don't do that on there because we're human, and sometimes we do things that are on there, but it's the frequency of it. Do you do it rarely? Do you do it sometimes, or do you do it frequently? All right, number 5, do you think that everything would be fine if your husband would do what you tell him to do? That's not all the time on there. Okay. All right, are we ready to go to the next slide? Do you eavesdrop on your husband's conversation? Now, today we have cell phones. You check your cell phone, check to see who's called. Right. Continue with the next one, yeah. 6, yes. Do you eavesdrop on your husband's conversation? Do you check his text messages? Check the Sprint T-Mobile bill, see what kind of phone numbers are on there. Are you doing those kinds of things? All right. Do you feel like you're the only adult in the family? Let me get Number 7, do you feel like you're the only adult in the family? Number 8, do you feel overburdened in parenting your children, if that applies to you? Number 9, do you do things for your husband? Do you do things for your husband that he is capable of doing for himself? Number 10, do you have recurring anxiety and depression? And number 11, do you feel exhausted or tired most of the time? Number 12, do you find either of you are disinterested in sex? What number?
No, up there.
Those numbers don't correspond. So if you need me to read one for you, I can. Which one do you want me to read? 11? Do you feel exhausted or tired? Yeah, it is. Well, you personally, do you feel tired? Yeah, it's invisible. Yeah. I saw another hand. Number 10, do you have recurring anxiety or depression?
Oh, do y'all go?
12. I haven't done 12 yet.
12?
Number 12. Well, yes, I have. Right? Do you find either of you are just interested in sex?
12.
Number 13. Do you feel resentful or jealous about your husband's victories in life? His accomplishments, things that he makes him feel good. How do you feel about that? Do you feel resentful or jealous about your husband's victories in life? 14. Do you reject or criticize his gifts, things that he gives you? Do you reject or criticize his gifts? And number 15. Do you fantasize about divorce or life with a man who would be a better match for you?
That's 15, right?
Rarely, sometimes, or frequently. Number 16. Do you discount the reasons you chose your husband in the first place? Rarely, sometimes, or frequently. Number 17. Do you feel hopeless about your marriage because your needs have gone unmet for so long?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Number 17. Do you feel hopeless about your marriage because your needs have gone unmet for so long? Rarely, sometimes, frequently. And please take your answers. Be honest, because you're going to see what kind of score you have at the end to see to kind of measure the intimacy that you're feeling in your marriage. Number 18. Do you have a hard time trusting your husband in even small matters? Do you have a hard time with trust? Rarely, sometimes, or frequently. And 20. This is the last one.
No, that was 19.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this is the biggie. I didn't mean this system. Do you find yourself trying to control your husband?
Yep.
Rarely, sometimes, or frequently. And then 20. Do you get angry with your husband when he makes a poor decision? Do you get angry with your husband when he makes a poor decision? 16. Do you discount the reasons you chose your husband in the first place? That means the good that you thought he had, are you just discounting them? Or are you saying they're not there anymore? Or he's changed? Or why did you marry him in the first place? What were some of the things that attracted him to you? They're still there. We just don't see them sometimes. But they're still there. They're still there. Do you discount them? Yes.
I just drew a line.
Number 3. Do you,
Number 10.
the word here is commiserate or talk with other wives about your husband?
I don't remember.
Okay, any more clarification?
9, please.
Number 9, do things for your husband, you do things for your husband that he can do for himself?
Thank you.
Read number 10, please.
Number 10, do you have anxiety and depression? It comes and goes, comes and goes. Anybody else? Okay. What I want you to do now is to give yourself 5 points for each rarely. 5 points. For each rarely, give yourself 5 points.
I put on that 5 now.
Well, that's not a choice.
I know it wasn't.
It's not
So
a
it's
choice
random.
because we are women, we have flaws, we have weaknesses, we're not perfect. Okay? So, if you know, let your husband do this quiz, and we want to see what he says.
You got that right.
Okay, because we think sometimes that we're not doing anything, but if we allow our husbands to honestly give an assessment
Yes,
about
right.
us, he will see things quite differently from the way we see
Yes.
things. So that's why there's not a never, and that's why there's not all the time.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there's not an all the time, and there's not
Never.
a never. So you have to stay within the choices that are listed.
All
I
right.
know it's hard. I know it's hard. This is forcing us to look at ourselves and take an honest assessment about us. And this is something, it's a tool for you, because what we're talking about is to surrender and to be committing to our husbands, and we have to know what's wrong before we can correct anything.
That's right. That's right.
So that's why we're doing this little assessment. Wow, that makes this so difficult. Okay, all right. For sometimes, give yourself 3 points for every sometime.
3.
3 points. For each sometimes, give yourself 3 points. Each sometimes is 3 points. Each sometimes is 3 points. And then add it up. I'm going to wait for you. Add your rarely, add your sometimes, and then we're going to go to our frequently. For each frequently, you get 1 point. So guess it ain't got one frequently. Okay, good. So for each frequently, add 1 point. Now, take the total of all 3 scores and add them together. If you're proud of your score, I want you to, if you want to share, you can. And if you're not proud, you can still share. You're learning. This is about learning. I'm going to tell you. So has everybody counted their scores? Okay. You can get a score from 20 to 100. If your score is 35 or less, now this is not bad. This is just that you're probably wondering, why you ever married this person in the first place. But, with a few little simple lessons, you'll up your score. If you can remember the reasons why you agreed to marry him in the first place and start respecting him for those reasons alone, you can still have the marriage that with some intimacy in it and what you have always dreamed of. Because you married him. This is the man you chose to marry. So you loved him at one point. I know you still love him, but you can love him more if you think about why you married him in the first place. If your score is 36 to 60, it's hard to tell because you make it look so easy. But you're doing too much and you need a break. Just start to take better care of yourself, ask for help, and your husband will appreciate your vulnerability and he will feel respected. Thank your husband for his contributions, and you will be well on your way to igniting passion and achieving intimacy. Okay? All right? If your score is 61 or above, and you can score as high as 100. Your marriage is very intimate and passionate. You found a man that you respect, and the two of you have a positive impact on one another. And there's a healthy mix of being an individual and a healthy mix of being together. And you know what? You're quick to apologize. Who's quick to apologize when you're wrong? Hey, quick. So, and you know what? When you're the first one to apologize, that is good. That is really good. Now, does anyone want to share a score? Okay? What's your score? Oh, 86. She's a newlywed, y'all.
All right.
All right. 52. And how long have you been married? 19 years. You're getting into the hard years.
Yeah, yeah.
Perimenopause years for us. So I'm just trying to see which is. So, your husband, if he's still with you, pat on the back. Okay, and teenage daughters. Okay. Okay. Yours is higher than mine. Okay. 80. 80. You got 100, okay. 88,
79.
79, the back.
98.
76. That's what I got. 72, 76, somewhere around there. That was my score.
92.
92, 77, 72, yeah, 72. Okay. And if you score is lower, that's okay. You just need to apply certain principles, get some more information, and start applying those. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the quiz, and in about 6 months or 3 months, I want you to take it again and see what your score is, because after the workshop today, you're going to go home and be more determined to be a better wife to your husband.
Yeah.
And when you take this quiz again, you will see your scores go up. And these are the things that you need to work on. Look at the things that you are struggling with on the sheet and be committed to making a change in that direction. And when you're learning to surrender, don't go and broadcast it to your husband.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I'm learning to surrender. I'm surrendering. Don't announce it. Be quiet about it and just surrender. So she's going to pass these out in a couple of months. And don't feel bad if your score is low. Don't feel bad about that. I expect those newlyweds to have 100 or whatever, but so when we get our age, we have issues, okay? We just get mean and ugly. We're still staying with us. Praise the Lord, because we are not easy to live with when we get this age. And some of you who've gone through your menopause and your perimenopause, and I've done a presentation on that. It is not a very happy time for us. So, if your husband is still with you, and that's when a lot of divorces take place. You're in this, you wonder, they've been married 20 years, 25 years, why are they getting divorced now?
Yeah.
It's because of the issues that we as women have to deal with our changing hormones and things.
Yes. No, one for Ellie. Could you take the tape? Stand and take my screen.
It goes both ways.
You have a comment.
I'm not. Even though he knows I am, I don't, and you can tell my actions are as foreign. I just don't say it as all. And so, but see what happens is, this passes, it just kind of pass by and we come back together.
Yeah. And how long have you been married?
30 years.
You all are a good fit. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Now, we're going to go to this term we don't like to hear. What does it mean? What does it mean to submit? Now, it means to, simply the word itself. If you look at the PowerPoint, it means to subordinate, to just put yourself under, to obey, to subject yourself, to yield to one's admonition or advice, just to submit to another person's control. And the King James Version says to obey. And we don't like that word, but it's just allowing your husband to be the leader in your home, allowing him to lead. Now, Sister Rupert said to me, she sent me a text and said that make this apply to women who had helped their husbands be elders and deacons in the church. This is for all women. And, but especially if you want your husband to lead. But this is for all women, all married women. Now, we don't have time. We don't have a problem with submitting, because if we work a job, we have a boss. Do we have a problem with that all the time? We know we have to do that. What about it if you're get stopped and pulled over by a policeman? What, you gonna yell and scream at him like you do your husband? No, you're not. What if you're in the court system and you have to do jury duty? When they say for everyone to stand up, are you just gonna keep sitting down when the judge comes in? When the judge tells you and rules a verdict or whatever, you're going to disrespect what he says and not listen to it, or you're going to heed what he says? Because we are submitting whether we are admitting it or not. We just don't like to submit to our husbands in our home. And that's what we're here to learn today. But we're going to consult our Bibles first. So let me see the Bibles. Because, you don't need to go to retreat without a Bible. Very good. Very good. That's good. I'm going to have to quickly go through this. Ephesians tells us to submit to to your own husbands as you do the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, and Christ is the head of the church,